shout out Langston Galloway mentioned. First time on the podcast.
Get ready to speak Chinese segment where we basically highlight players who had terrible weeks or performances, and we basically cast them off to China. That might be fun.
Right. Michael Porter Jr., we'll start with you, buddy.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. You're already out of here. What do you have, like 20 points over the last 4 games? Like, I mean, that was just...
He was absolutely miserable is all I know.
He had to be suffering out there.
In the third quarter, he had 2 in a row. And I thought, okay, I think he's back. He hit like a 3, he hit a pull-up 3 and then a little fadeaway mid-range. I was like, uh-oh. But then, absolutely crapped his pants. And I mean, he went 3 for 12 last night, 7 points. Let's just get right into it. What a game. One of the best games I've watched in recent memory.
Oh, wow.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I can't. Last year playoff game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals was pretty good. Shout out Derek White. But besides that game, I can't think of another game that was truly, as we say, absolute cinema.
Yeah, I mean, it's in large part, though, because of the buildup. Because in a vacuum, this game was not very good. I mean, besides the comeback, there was a lot of clankers, a lot of like just mild performances. Anthony Edwards was terrible. But because of the drama of this series and because of all the blowouts that we've had, to see it actually be close down the stretch was pretty impressive. And then, of course, the comeback from Minnesota, which I don't think anybody had like written down at halftime, was like, oh, Minnesota's going to come back in this one. After Anthony Edwards was like 1 for 10, 2 for 10 to start.
Yeah.
And Denver just looked really good. Well, Jokic looked really good and Murray looked really good. And then Murray got really quiet in the second half. And, for as great as Joker is, just getting pretty much nothing out of the supporting cast from the other guys not named Jamal Murray. That proved to be the dagger. And Minnesota was surprisingly on it. And Karl Towns was really good. And Jaden McDaniels had back-to-back 20-point games. And Rudy Gobert hit the wildest no fadeaway turnaround.
You're cooked when Gobert hits fadeaways on you. Yeah, it's over. I mean, I knew it was over from right there.
That was the emotional favorite player, actually, in the coffin.
It is.
Rudy Gobert is nobody's favorite player. And if he is,
they're lying.
They're lying.
What if you just like good defense?
Then you're still not a Gobert fan. Let's be honest here.
Oh, it's good.
The only reason why the Timberwolves won was because Karl Towns guarded Jokic the entire Game 7.
It did a damn good job. I mean, given the circumstances, given that it's the best player in the world, given that this is Karl Towns, who has, even though he was kind of advertised as like a great defensive guy coming into the league, which I never really understood, and he's never really lived up to that.
He's always been a lazy stretch four.
Yeah. I mean, and
he's always really been lazy.
Scorer, but
you know what, though? You know what? I think, and I've said this before, at least to one of you, maybe on the air, but I think that the Anthony Edwards praise deserves a ton of focus on what he's gotten out of Karl Anthony Towns, what he's gotten out of this team. He's so clearly their leader emotionally on the court, in the locker room, and the way that he's been able to push this team. Because this team is relatively, I don't want to say the same, but very similar to the team that it's been in years past. I know they added Gobert recently, a year or two ago. And, they've been starting to build the team around Anthony Edwards, but he came in and he made a winning situation out of a group of perennial losers. And that is very impressive.
The biggest loser.
I completely agree.
Here, and maybe not the biggest loser, but one of them. And I know I'm just reaching a little bit because I love to hate on Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler feels like a big loser here. After the parading around in Minnesota up and down for 6 months, oh my God, I can't win with these guys. Oh, these guys are a bunch of losers. Oh, they don't try hard. Karl Towns is the biggest joke I've ever seen. And now Karl Towns is playing great defense and playing really hard and is in a conference finals. It's pretty impressive. I mean, yeah. And I mean, at that time, we all would have agreed with Jimmy Butler, like, hey, these guys are too young, too dumb.
We did agree with them.
But I mean, and not to say that things can't change, but 22-year-old Anthony Edwards comes in and is a vocal leader, a motivator of this team. He leads by example, even though he was very much on trial yesterday. I'm not going to say he came through with flying colors, but I love that when he was shooting terribly from the field, he switched it up. He was like, I have to attack through my defense. And he ends up getting a couple fast break points generated just by being aggressive on Jamal Murray, picking his pocket. But the jump shot was not there, and he found another way to help out. And they really do turn to him and really do believe in him. And I think that's pretty telling for the 22-year-old Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and shout out Chris Finch as well. I know he's been kind of in the back. He can't actively coach right now, but like we were saying, how Anthony Edwards has been able to get this team from losers to winners, really. Chris Finch obviously has a lot to do with that as well, and just trusting him. But also this team last year put up the best fight against the Nuggets, and they were, if you remember, the last game of the season in San Antonio or it was actually in Austin. The Timberwolves got in that fight. Gobert was suspended from the team for the play-in tournament, and with Kyle Anderson, they managed to get out. But that team had no chemistry going into last year. They figured it out with the same guys. They figured out that without trading, without overreacting, they figured out how to gel and really just what a turnaround. What an absolute turnaround. And yeah, like I said, they put up the best fight against Denver last year, even though they lost in 5. And I don't want to toot my own horn here, but I was telling y'all, I said, give the Nuggets the Timberwolves, and the Nuggets don't survive. And there you go. Go Timberwolves. I'm going to buy a Nas Reed jersey now. So yeah, I can't find a Nas Reed jersey, actually. I can't find them anywhere.
Out.
No, they don't even make them.
Good.
They definitely make them. They're definitely on
them.
like the Timberwolves Pro Shop or something.
Yeah, I tried going on they're not there.
I've seen
you can make
jerseys out there. People
no, like authentic ones. I don't want those like this one I got on. I don't.
Is that's hella China, isn't it?
No. This is I got on Fanatics for like $20.
Oh my! Is that
you want an
Simmons jersey?
authentic?
No, it's Kyrie actually, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about that series in a minute.
You want an authentic Nas Reed jersey?
Yes,
the $200 one.
Yes.
You want to spend $200 on Nas Reed?
Well, I don't. I put up a bet with my dad. My dad's rooting for the Mavs, and I said, if the Timberwolves win, you owe me a Nas Reed jersey, and if they don't, I'll pay for you and Mom to have dinner at a nice place. So
that's not a bad bet.
It's not, right? That's
but
what
get ready to pay up. Get ready to pay up a little bit because hopefully he doesn't choose too nice of a place.
Hopefully the Mavs don't have what it takes to beat that defense.
Man,
Anthony Edwards gonna give Kyrie hell. Let's see who's gonna guard Luka here. You can put a lot of people.
Dude,
let's actually, I think a better match would be Edwards on Kyrie, but Anthony Edwards said Edwards on Luka, but Anthony Edwards said he got Kyrie. So
I'm so pissed at the assumption. We're just bookmarking Minnesota to the finals. And right now, that's not how I'm picking it.
Rightfully so.
But even if you think that Minnesota would win, it's not. It's way too close for people to just be like, "Oh, Wolves Celtics in the finals. Wolves Celtics in the finals, guarantee it." Like maybe it happens.
Celtics.
I'm sure there's a great chance that it does. Shut the dude. But Dallas, did we not just do this thing with Dallas? We just saw they have the two of the 5 most prolific backcourt scorers in the league. They have 2 of them. I mean, they're incredible, and I mean, yeah, they have a fantastic defense, and they're going to be physical, and they're going to make it tough. Nobody's doubting that. but you're not going to stop Luka or stop Kyrie. You might even bring one of them down a little bit on one night, not both of them.
There's been games where they both decided they didn't want to play.
Yeah,
and
here they are.
They were some stinkers.
I really don't even know that Dallas has many holes at this point, and it pains me to say that because I'm not a big Luka fan. I'm not a big Kyrie fan, but I understand how great they are.
You love Kyrie.
I don't love Kyrie, but and you raved on this team all year after the deadline, and I was the one who was more hesitant about their trade deadline moves, and I was dead wrong. Here they are. They stand in the conference finals. I mean, I know OKC looked good during that series, but I don't know. They only it ends up being 4-2, and I don't know. They never really pushed Dallas that hard for the series. Dallas has had a really nice playoff so far against two really good teams. The 1 seed, albeit some are saying a very weak 1 seed. I don't know that that's entirely true. I think they're just
that's not
young.
fair to the Thunder.
They were just early.
Yeah,
I mean they're just early. I really like Dallas. I just like them too much to just punch Minnesota's ticket. I like Dallas in a long series. I think it's 7 games, and we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I just think we need to ease up on the Minnesota love.
They are 1-3.
I look at it. I think it's too close to call. I think this is way too close to just definitively say, "Oh, the Wolves are going to win." They're so young. How old is Anthony Edwards? 22?
22.
Maybe 23? 22?
22.
Yeah, exactly. So young. Now, at the same time, after mentioning that, if the Timberwolves do win and go to the finals, and especially if they were to beat Boston, which I don't think would happen, but if they were, you're looking at a team where your superstar is 22 years old and you're NBA champions. He's not the best he's going to be. He's going to become a much better shooter. He's going to develop so many more of his skills. He's going to hone his craft. He hasn't done any of that yet. It's his second year in the league. The rest of the league is effed if that happens. They might be anyway. That being said, if that does happen, I think the Celtics would win because they have the best player in the series, Jason Tatum, on their team. And love him or hate him, we can talk about his leadership style or his softness or his hardness till we're blue in the face.
He's a great guy.
Undisputedly, he is bigger. He's a better shooter. He is way more skilled than Edwards, at least right now. And so I would give the Celtics a significant edge. I think they would probably win that series in 6. Anyway, I think that the Mavericks are really good. I like Luka. I like Kyrie on the court. In person, in real life, off the court, no, probably not. But I don't know. I just think that this Mavericks team is tough. They're winners. They are winning. And this playoff run has proven to me that they have what it takes to at least make it a very good series.
That's fair. I was actually going to throw out some head-to-heads, but then I remembered this was all pre the Mavs and Timberwolves played all 4 games before the Mavs got their trades. So I'm just going to toss it to the side.
What was the record
Mavs
anyway?
were 1-3 against them, but it's not the same team. So I'll be
it's
fair
not the same
for that.
situation. Playoffs, different.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't know why. Well, the Timberwolves had won the season series against the Nuggets this year. They did. And then they also won against the Suns.
That was a great regular season team. Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so wishy-washy on the Mavs. I don't know why. I just can't trust them. I can't trust a Luka-led team, man. I don't know. After the past few years, just watching that team collapse, and he's he's the cause for it. What's that?
You sound like me now. Bashing
Yeah,
Luka.
I know. And I was so high on it because, like you said, I was earlier. I said this is a title contender. Right after they traded for Gafford and Washington and those guys, I said, and obviously they still are title contenders because they're 1 of 2 in their conference. So,
well, I'll tell you, if Luka looked like he did at the end of this most recent series, at the end of the Thunder series, if he looked like he did at the start of it, I'd lean Minnesota more heavily. But I feel like he got progressively healthier If it was really a health thing,
that is
he's either
true.
gotten progressively healthier or just playing much better. He looks more confident. He looks more physical. The shot is starting to
better
really
shape.
fall. Yeah, he just looks like he's
in
feeling
better shape
better
in Game 7
and can
sure.
play deeper into these games at a higher level. And I'm still so high on Luka, man. I know everybody wants to talk about Ant, Shea, everything else. Luka is still, to me, he is second or third in this league. I mean, as far as top players in this league go, he's going to definitively be the best player in this series, at least going into it. We'll see what happens throughout as it progresses. And I still look at Minnesota as I feel like they're only as good as their second best guy. If Ant doesn't have it, which we've seen a few times in these playoffs, he's had a game in each series where he has not had it. And what do you do then? Now, obviously, they found a way in Game 7. But we're talking about Jaden McDaniels going up back-to-back 20-point games for a guy who averaged 9 in the regular season. This isn't who he is. He's going to come down to earth. I know he can shoot the ball. He's shooting with confidence. This is part of why we love Ant. He empowers his teammates. But if Karl Towns,
except is your issue? Does he come down in this series or next series? You know,
he can come down at any given moment. And I mean, these guys are.
You don't know
guys.
when it's going to happen.
It's probably going to happen on the road. You know,
you forget though that even the role players can give you 50. Look at what's his name on the Pistons.
Malachi Flynn.
What's his name?
I know they're all
Malachi
capable
Flynn.
of it. But
exactly. Gave you 50. SGA doesn't have 50.
I love the switchiness and the defense that Dallas is going to bring you. Not that I didn't love what Denver had, but Dallas has younger, quicker defenders. PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford. I love their two bigs. They're always going to be able to have a great big on the floor, which is something Denver couldn't always guarantee. If Jokic hit the bench, then what? They had to play a small ball 5 with Aaron Gordon at the 5. But Dallas has two great, awesome centers who can actually try to contest the size of Minnesota. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people are calling it.
I think it goes to 6 or 7 for sure. I don't know who wins if it's at 7. I'll say Timberwolves in 6. I'll stick with that. But y'all can disagree, which y'all do. So it's okay. That's why we're here. Let's move on. I think we did a pretty good job at breaking that one down.